How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're looking at some spooky ghost photos that people can't quite explain. So hit that subscribe button and get ready for more creepy content just like this.
When Slapped Ham viewer Ryan M took a trip with a group of friends to Roxborough State Park in Colorado, United States, he never expected to come home with two chilling ghost photos. One member of the group spotted a perfect place for a photo op atop a large boulder with the scenic mountains in the background. Ryan snapped two photos, one as his friend was climbing onto the rock, and another with him triumphantly perched at the top. However, he isn't alone in either of the photos. Both snapshots show a small boy standing in the tall grass around the base of the rock. The child's face is blurry, so his features are difficult to make out. He's either obscured by grass or he's actually transparent and we can see the grass behind him. Either way, the group of friends is certain they would have remembered a small child wandering around alone while they were attempting to get the shot. Yet no one remembers seeing a child nearby. US state parks are common places for strange happenings. According to some statistics, over 1,600 people have gone missing in state parks over the years, few of which have ever been located. Many of the stories of disappearances are bizarre and mysterious with few clues or confusing details. One possible explanation for the appearance of a ghostly child in the photos from Roxborough State Park is that this boy is one of thousands of people who have met their ends within the park system, leaving this lonely spirit behind, still searching for help from strangers. However, without being able to identify the child, his appearance remains a mystery. This eerie photo does leave you with the question, is something sinister happening in America's national parks? Not all ghost photos are as obvious as the little boy wandering around in a state park. In this photo, submitted by Corrine S, you may have to look twice to spot the photo-bombing phantom. Corinne's mother-in-law went for a visit with her Uncle Lenny. Uncle Lenny had lost his wife years ago, but still kept photos of the two of them around the house to remember his beloved. When Corinne's mother-in-law saw this particular photo of the two of them when they were young, she decided to capture a photo of it on her camera. In the image, you can see her reflection in the glass as she holds up her camera to snap the photo. In the reflection, there's also a man with glasses standing to her right. When she took the photo, Uncle Lenny was standing to her left. There was no one else in the house at the time the photo was taken. So who was the mysterious man in glasses standing on her other side? Ghosts often make themselves known through photos and reflections even when they aren't visible to the naked eye. Perhaps some other deceased relative decided to pay a visit and join the nostalgia that the old photo brought. However, the family has no idea who the phantom visitor could be. Old forts, often epicenters of wartime violence, are common settings for eerie ghost photos. Viewer Debbie M learned this firsthand during her visit to Fort Pembroke in Portsmouth, UK. The visit took place in the evening, long after most visitors have gone home. Despite the fact, Debbie still explored the old fort, snapping some photos to remember the occasion. Upon reviewing the photos, she noticed something odd, the silhouette of a person in one of the windows. Because the figure is blocking out the light, it couldn't be a mere reflection. Debbie contacted the staff at the fort, hoping they might have some answers. However, the staff were just as disturbed by the photo as she was. No one was inside the fort at the time, and the lights in the building are motion activated, so there'd be no reason for the light to come on if the room was empty. The staff of Fort Pembroke are no strangers to ghost photos. The fort regularly experiences haunted happenings, drawing the attention of many amateur ghost hunters. The ghostly activity is most common in the tunnels beneath the fort, where visitors and staff have heard whispers, moans, and knocks. Others have seen objects move on their own or spotted shadow entities. No one is sure who exactly is haunting the old fort, but the ghost of a deceased soldier is likely the culprit. Often, ghost photos are passed from person to person, building a mysterious aura that gives the image an element of intrigue. Viewer Allister W was given this photo by a friend who claims one of their friends snapped the image at their home in Saddle Lake in Alberta, Canada. With little context for the photo, it remains shrouded in mystery. According to the story, the person who took the photo was plagued by a sinister feeling, almost as if there was something watching them through the darkened windows of their home. Terrified by the eerie presence, they turned away from the window and reached over their shoulder to snap a photo, hoping to capture an image of whatever it was that was haunting them. Unfortunately, they learned the old lesson: be careful what you wish for. The photo shows an eerie face peering through the shadows outside the window. The photo is too dark and blurry to make out many features, but when you adjust the brightness, the sinister face is clearly there. The friend of a friend who took the photo is not the only resident of Saddle Lake to have paranormal experiences. Many of the locals have similar stories of feeling like some invisible entity was watching them, only to spot a similarly terrifying face staring out at them from the shadows. It isn't unusual for spirits to be difficult to spot in ghost photos, but once you see them, their faces often haunt you. In this photo, submitted by Slaptown viewer Paulo, a sneaky spirit is the stuff of nightmares. On first glance, this photo, taken in the Philippines, looks like an ordinary photo of two guys hanging out by a pool. They smile at the camera without a care in the world, unaware of the presence lurking behind them. If you look closely behind the boy on the left, you'll notice something strange peeking out from the pool. An eerie face with glowing eyes staring into the camera. Most likely, the boys would have noticed if someone had crawled out of the pool while they were taking the photo, yet this terrifying pale face certainly seems to have noticed them. There's little information available to figure out who this demonic ghost could be. Perhaps the spirit of someone who met their untimely end in this very swimming pool. Without knowing more about where the photo was taken, this horrifying entity remains a mystery. I sure would love to get your opinions on this one in the comments section below. When Slaptown viewer Cathleen R purchased a house in Abbeville, Louisiana in the United States, ghost photos were the last thing on her mind. After moving into the house, strange paranormal things began to happen. She and her daughter heard mysterious voices speaking to them, felt breath on their skin, and toys and lights would begin turning on randomly. They saw indents in mattresses where no one was sitting, and light bulbs would occasionally explode. She even saw her daughter holding out her arms as if asking to be picked up by someone only she could see. On one of these occasions, when her daughter reached out to an unseen entity, Kathleen took a photo to see what would appear on the film. Much to her surprise, the picture showed the silhouette of a ghostly woman hovering over her daughter. On another day, Kathleen began to feel cold and breathless while standing in the hallway. A moment later, her daughter began screaming in terror. They fled the hallway, but Kathleen first snapped a picture. She was shocked when she saw the image. In the picture, there appears to be a pale figure in a dark robe floating in the air. The ghostly presences haven't caused too much trouble yet, but this Slaptown viewer should probably tread lightly when dealing with these spirits. Before we get to that number one spot and take a look at a truly chilling ghost photo captured in a jail in Iowa, remember to hit that subscribe button and tickle the bell icon there. That way you'll get notifications every time we upload new and scary content. When John R visited the Squirrel Cage Jail in Iowa, United States for a paranormal investigation, he was hoping to come home with a few ghost photos. The spirits didn't disappoint. In this photo from the jail, a dark shadowy entity appears with its back to the camera. Performing some research in collaboration with staff, John was able to determine the entity is wearing a jacket with patches that match those worn by local police in the 1930s and 40s. In addition, it appears to be holding a key fob similar to the ones used at this particular jail, suggesting that the entity may be the spirit of a former prison guard. The Squirrel Cage Jail is known as a hotbed for paranormal activity. The prison was built on the site of a former church morgue, and as far back as the 1950s, prison guards began hearing mysterious footsteps when alone in the building. Even today, staff in the building, which is now a historic museum, hear footsteps and voices, even spotting shadowy figures moving around. One well-known death that occurred in the building is that of a prison guard whose gun misfired during a riot. As the ghost in this photo is likely that of a guard, this could be the identity of the eerie entity captured in John's now famous photo.
If you want to see some more scary photos, then check out that link on the top there. Otherwise, there's an entire playlist there full of weird photos that'll scare you for hours and hours. Leave us a comment down below which one of these photos you thought was the weirdest or scariest as well. I'd love to get your feedback. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time.